Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds, and I'm here with Keith, co-star of my upcoming film, If, only in theaters May 17th. Do you want to tell people the big news? All right, I'll do it. Sign up now and you'll get unlimited for $15 a month and 6 months of Paramount Plus Essential Plan on us. MintMobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 equivalent to $15 per month. Unlimited over 40 gigabytes per month. Face lower speeds. Videos at 480p. Active Mint customers by 531.24 get 6 months of Paramount Plus Essential Plan. Auto renews after 6 months. Offer ends May 31st, 2024. Separate Paramount Plus registration required. Terms and conditions apply if rated PG.
The Technion Israel Institute of Technology is where some of Israel's brightest minds ask the biggest question of all. What if? What if they could take on the world's biggest challenges? What if they could develop life-changing environmental, scientific, health, medical, and technological discoveries that will make a huge impact on Israel and the planet? But they don't just ask the question, they answer it too. They turn those ideas into reality. They make them happen. To see just some of the incredible things they've achieved, get the Technion Booklet of Wonders at ats.org/wonders. We hope it inspires you to give them your support so they can keep doing what they do best. The American Technion Society. World-changing discoveries by Israel's brightest minds, made possible by you.
The betrayal of the women organization was very difficult for me. It was so depressing. It was really a betrayal. There was a group that approached me. They called themselves Me Too Unless You Are a Jew, which was very, very strong. And it was about women and about the women that are kidnapped. We approached all parliaments and all the big organizations of women that you always hear from them about anything that happens with women. And you mentioned Malala. I remember how we all put pictures, and we didn't care if she's Muslim or Christian or Jew or, I don't know, Buddhist. We didn't care. It was a girl that was shot because she wanted to go to school. And here are girls that were kidnapped because they went to a party. And you know what? I was shocked. I was really, really shocked not seeing Michelle Obama handing a picture of women hostages. But as a politician wife, I'm used to disappointments and sometimes little moments of joy.
Hey listeners, it's Mishi. So as you know, we're continuing our series of Wartime Diaries, which is our attempt to collect slivers of life during these difficult days. Lihi Lapid is a celebrated photojournalist, columnist, and best-selling author of children's books, cookbooks, and award-winning novels. She's also married to Yair Lapid, the former Israeli prime minister and current leader of the opposition. In 2021, Lihi published Zarot, a sweeping tale that explores a complicated mother-daughter relationship, the tolls of immigration, and the reality of marginalized groups within Israeli society. When it came out, it received glowing praise, especially from the notoriously harsh critics at Haaretz, who called the novel, quote, a wonderful work, written with restraint and wisdom. And this spring, 3 years later, and in what feels like, and actually is, an entirely different world, the English translation, On Her Own, was published by HarperCollins. Last month, Mitch Ginsburg and I talked to Lihi in our studio in Jerusalem. Adina Karpuch edited our conversation, which ranged from feminism to special needs, and from the shock of October 7th to what it's like to have a major work of fiction, written by the former prime minister's wife, come out in the middle of a war. Here's Lihi.
Hi, my name is Lihi Lapid, and I'm a writer and a mother. I grew up in Arad, which is the place you stop for toilet on the way to Masada, right? So I have this barefoot desert girl view of life. Yair is joking at me sometimes. I'm saying, I'm from Arad. And he says, honey, you live in Tel Aviv and you are the most bourgeois ever. But inside of me, it's this girl. Yeah. You and me met when I was a photographer, right? I was a news photographer, very tough, short hair, big motorbike. But after Lior was born, I realized no newspaper wants any mother that needs to breastfeed every 4 hours. You can't do it. The motorbike is not a place to put the baby. That was my first time that I realized I'm a woman. Until then, I thought, wow, you and me, I can do everything that you can do. And then I was angry. I was angry because actually they told us all the time that we can do everything. And then I wanted to do something about it. So I started photographing women and babies in order to show that it's difficult, but it's so sweet and it's so nice. So I said, okay, photography is not the way to do it. And then I started writing. I did study 1 year in the University of Tel Aviv literature because I married Yair, and his mother is a famous writer, and his father was a journalist and a writer, and he was a... So I wanted to sound smart. But I never thought I would be a writer, never.
Can we maybe hear what your October 7th was like?
Wow. October 7th, we woke up for sirens. It was so weird for me. Yael, our daughter, she's autistic. She's 27 years old. She was sleeping and like, wow, it's probably a mistake. I don't need to wake her up and drag her to the safe room. Mm-hmm. It was difficult to explain to her why we need to rush in and go down. And then a friend SMS'd me, listen, there are terrorists in my sister's house down the block. And I said, Yair, Efrat is saying that there are terrorists at her sister's house. Do something. And he calls the whatever big chiefs of the army, and he realizes that something is happening. It was an hour that she sends me messages of the daughter of her sister saying, the terrorists are here. We can't talk, so don't call us. And whispering. And I was like, okay, it's crazy, but it's 5-10 people somewhere. Yair was all the time on the phone. And then he came to the living room and I told him, listen, there are 40 people dead. Yeah. And he looks at me and he says, much more. Much more.
Wow.
I have something with Yair that we decided at the beginning of him being a politician, that he doesn't tell me things I'm not allowed to know. Now it sounds not funny, but I always say if the Syrians will take me, I don't want to have any secrets. I want to say everything. So Yair never tells me things that are not allowed to say, but this whisper of him saying much more. I will never forget this moment that I realized we are in a different situation.
So what did you tell Yael? What did you say to your daughter?
I remember I looked at her and I said, okay, I'm not going to even try to explain. Yael is not talking, so she has all kind of signs. So she do with her fingers like glasses, which means grandma. And after 10,000 times she asked to go to grandma, I said, maybe it's a good idea. Maybe she's saying that grandma is alone. I'll go to be with her a little bit. And you know what? Being at my mother's house, looking at my mother sitting in a stairway because there are bombs all over her, looking at my autistic daughter sitting next to her with all the neighbors there, it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. It's not the way Israel was supposed to be. It's not the way.
So, Lihi, you're also the president of a large organization in Israel that provides services and employment opportunities for people with special needs. Can you talk a little bit about that aspect of the war, of people with special needs in the war?
Wow. First of all, the spectrum of people with disabilities are from people that are totally understanding everything and people that don't understand what's going on and everything is collapsing around them. I want to tell one story that maybe will help us. A woman from Kfar Aza, Keren, the mother of Amit, 26-year-old young woman with autism, that she sat in the safe room for 30 hours with a 26-year-old autistic girl that doesn't understand what's going on. And she held her in her arms for 30 hours. There was no light. Her daughter wanted the iPad or something, and there was nothing. And she held her. She said that her daughter scratched her totally. She just said all the time to her daughter, shh, shh, for 30 hours. Can you imagine this situation? No autistic kid need to be hugged for 30 hours and put hands on their mouth for him not to shout. It's really, really, really devastating.
Could you imagine being her?
I don't think Elle would survive it, but yes, I'm telling you, since she told me that, I think I'm dreaming about it. I'm remembering there were tough times with Yael that I'm holding her for 3 minutes. Wow. I don't know if I would survive it. I don't know if I wouldn't say, you know what, that's it. I have no energy anymore.
So, Lihi, I'd like to switch gears and talk a bit about the book. You wrote it 3 years ago in Hebrew. It's out now in English. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yes. It's about a young girl, 18-year-old. She's running away from bad people and from bad relationship. And she hides in a stairway. And suddenly at 5 o'clock in the morning, an old lady is going down the stairs. She opens the light. Nina, the young girl, is trying to figure out where to escape when the old woman, Carmela, looks at Nina and say, Dana, my Dana, you came back for me. And that starts the relationship.
So, I just read the book, and obviously you read a book within the context of the time in which you read it. So I read all kinds of things into the book, which perhaps weren't even part of the way that you thought about it. But one thing that was very palpable for me was the fact that the characters find themselves in this really unusual and difficult situation, which sort of gets out of hand. No one really intended for any of this to happen. And then suddenly everyone's in a very, very difficult position. And in some ways, I feel that that's also true of us sort of on a national level, right? That we found ourselves in a situation that no one really wants. And there's something about how these characters are trying to get themselves out of a situation that they never really wanted to be in, which to me resembled something that we are all feeling, or at least that I'm feeling, about trying to get out of a situation that we really don't want to be in.
I never thought about it, but yes, it's like if I would come here a year ago and I would say, listen, I have a story, 133 people are kidnapped and held with the Hamas in Gaza for 6 months, and I'm not so sure if everything is being done to bring them back. You would think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
And I talked to my son, and he said he's not watching the news. And I said, why? And he said, it's unbearable to see all those people behaving and talking like everything is normal when nothing is normal. And I think we are in a situation that nothing is normal. And in the book, there is this grandmother that she's not the grandmother, and this young girl that she's not her granddaughter, and they are building their own world. And I think, in a way, it's what's happening to a lot of Israelis now, that we are trying to shelter ourselves inside family, inside relationships. I have lectures and I see so many people are coming just to be together, just to hold hands, maybe to cry a little bit. And I think suddenly it lightened a big part in the book that was maybe a little bit in the shadow. Carmela, the old woman, lost her child as a combat soldier 30 years ago. And suddenly she becomes so relevant to this time. And what I've experienced at the last 6 months that the war is going on is that every time that I saw a picture of a soldier that was killed, I realized that there's a new Carmela, a new mother that will grieve forever, that will, for 30 years, every soldier that will walk on the street, she will for a minute imagine that it's her son that is coming back. And when I wrote and I read it, I was sad with her. But now when there are 604 more families that a soldier died for them, and everything is different in their lives, so it makes Carmela more relevant now.
Yeah. So it's a dream for any author to have their book translated and published by an important press like HarperCollins. But we're also at a moment in which, well, you know, the brand of Israel is what it is, and you are Yair Lapid's wife. So what's it like to have the book come out now?
You know, I think a lot of people in the stores will pick up the book, turn it, see that it's an Israeli writer, and will put it back. I know it will happen. Unfortunately, because there is something at the story that I wish people that don't like Israel will read it.
And my last question, Lee, is I thought a lot while reading the book about you, actually. You know, you are who you are, and you hold the positions that you hold and the prominence that you hold in society, and you're married to who you're married to and all of that. And you live in Ramat Aviv Gimel, and you came up in your mind with this story, which is a very, very different story of Israel. It's a story of the underbelly of Israel, of places on the periphery, of people on the periphery, which is not your world.
I'll tell you something. I was afraid like you, and I sent Yair the beginning of the book, and I said, listen, don't tell me, Jen, say yes or no. So I sent him a mail, and he sent me a mail back, and it was written, wow. It wasn't one of the options, but...
היא שקטה, עכשיו הכל בסדר, אפילו המחנק עומד להשתחרר. לא, זה לא הגיהנום, ובטח לא גן עדן, זה העולם שיש, ואין עולם אחר. היא שקטה כאילו אין בך דופי, כאילו האוויר נותן לך הגנה, כאילו הצרות כבר מתגבשות ליופי, כאילו מאפר פורחת שושנה. Oh שקטה, כמו לא עברת אף פעם, כמו לא היית צרימה בנוף המטופח, כמו ראית כף יד בתוך אגרוף הזעם, כמו אלומת האור, הנה מצא אותך. היא שקטה כאילו אין בך דופים, כאילו האוויר נותן לך הגנה, כאילו הצרות כבר מתגבשות ליופי, כאילו מעפר פורחת שושנה. היי שקטה, כמה אפשר לשטוח את הפגיעות מבלי לחשוש מהשפלה, וזה כאילו הפגיעות עצמה היא סוג של כוח, כאילו השלווה היא חוף הבעלה. היא שקטה כאילו אין בך דופים, כאילו האוויר נותן לך הגנה, כאילו הצרות כבר מתגבשות ליופי, כאילו מעפר פורחת שושנה. היא שקטה כאילו אין בך דופים, כאילו האוויר נותן לך הגנה, כאילו הצרות כבר מתגבשות ליופי, כאילו מעפר פורחת שושנה. היי שקטה, עכשיו הכל בסדר, אפילו המחנק עומד להשתחרר. זה לא הגיהנום ובטח לא גן עדן, זה העולם שיש ואין עולם אחר.